Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. This past weekend was a Muskox weekend, one of those April weekends where a little windy, in the 50s, 60s, a little rainy at times. Perfect for a Muskox flannel. It's also perfect all year long. Like obviously October, November, December, January, February. These are Muskox, the core Muskox months. But when you're on the beach in the summer, when you're in the backyard and you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to not have to worry about it dropping down into the low 60s at night, Muskox flannel is perfect. I'm telling you, go to gomuskox.com. You can use the promo code PEACOCK for $15 off your flannel purchase. Gomuskox.com. And also they have hats and tees there as well.
Peacock.
Jason, how you doing, brother?
Just put my excitement through the roof, as if the excitement wasn't already through the roof. Now it's sky high. It's touching the moon. My excitement. That's crazy.
Really good penis.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Was that a draft or Tigers take from Tony D there?
You know what? It's an old
bit. Okay.
with McG was actually going to be on the opening day roster. I've missed, he doesn't put any videos out anymore.
I'm worried.
So I went old school.
Okay.
It was him going crazy over McG. It was either that or the Lions loss against the Steelers, the Lions loss, where he had a bottle of Jack Daniels. I was looking through that one too. I miss you, Tony D. Come back, man.
Yeah, I worry about people when they just disappear like that.
Yeah.
People hit
especially 30-year-old guys, that get that excited about something. You always want to make sure you check in on those guys.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I don't know what that means. But
I think we all know what it means. I don't think you have to explain what that means.
I didn't mean to insinuate Tony D was going to off himself, but
no, but
yeah.
There's a point in time where you do want.
As soon as I said it, I was like, "Wow, that's not very nice." God, I hope nothing's bad's going on. But anyway, yeah, man, it's good to see you.
You too.
Yeah.
It's good to be seen. It's good to have some adult time conversations. That's all.
Oh yeah, that's right. Week 3 of the baby.
It's also the first week I'm back at work, so to speak.
Wait, you don't get 7 weeks off?
Well, I do. I get a lot of time off, but it's. I'm not taking it all at once. I'm doing like 2 weeks off.
Oh, this guy.
Well, but we got to stagger it though, because my wife is off the whole time at the beginning for like 12 weeks. So when she goes back to work, I need to have some time off before we put her in daycare. Where for a month I'm off. So
how long do you get?
10 weeks.
You get 10 weeks.
I get 10 weeks.
Man.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
It almost makes me want to have a child.
I thought about doing this every year for a while.
Right.
And then I realized this morning,
Drew Brees,
back to work, when I had to call my mother after 3 hours of trying to work with Cora on my lap and in the bassinet, that I had to bring her over to the list, just so I could do anything.
Mom, she just blew out her diaper. I need your help. I can call him. Put a rush on it. I know it takes you a while to get over here, but come on, let's do this.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm learning. I'll get there.
Not to mention daycare. That's all I hear about these new parents, Jordan and Sam. They tell me about the daycare prices and how crazy that stuff is. Man, I just don't envy.
It's cheaper in Lansing than it is in major cities. So
I have to say, other than the 10 weeks off of your job, all of the other things you've told me about a child, this just doesn't sound very blown out diapers and all that stuff.
It's a lot of fun unless you're trying
sleeping.
to multitask. That's the only time it's tough.
Multitask, you're just trying to live life. You're trying to be an adult.
Well,
all of a sudden you have a floppy little child around and can't do anything for itself.
Yeah, but she is your life now. That's the thing that changes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. Listen, I get it. The beautiful side of having a baby, blah, blah, blah. I understand. The way she looked at me, I know. I'm just saying, I like to do my own thing, so it's just so foreign to me.
My favorite thing is when people come over and they think she's looking at them. But her vision when you're a newborn, right? She's like 2 weeks old at this point. It's only about 8 to 10 inches.
Do you tell people that as they're holding the child?
No,
just
I
bum them out?
I want them to have their moment. But
he's not looking at you, right? Like,
so I get right up.
See anything.
I get right up in her face, so she'll make sure she can see me. Cause I say, like, how's this coffee breath for you? Come on, Cora.
God, that poor kid. I get sick of your takes, dude.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
I'm workshopping them on her. All of a sudden she's screaming. It's not.
Oh. But it can't be as boring as the NBA, Cora. Jesus, that product. And it doesn't have anything to do with the Pistons playing like complete ass.
Is this your first take?
Sure, well, let's get into it.
And
Jalen Duren absolutely let me down. I've been the biggest Jalen Duren supporter this whole season because I've watched a lot of the season. I had the Pistons games on, a 60-win season, was really excited. Going to the playoffs, people were worried about their offense, and the Orlando Magic's healthy now, and they're scary and all that. I get that. But and I know it's still a long series. We have a long ways to go. It's a must-win tonight. But I have to say, Graham, unless obviously getting out of this series, but the Jalen Duren Supermax contract, I just don't know. Something miraculous would have to happen outside of the series where we get outside of the Magic and the next series he plays well, because his first 3 games of this series has been really disappointing. And you've said it, Michigan fan Jordan, although it was gambling related, he wants fucking credit. I'm not giving him credit. You get a little bit of credit because you were talking about Jalen Duren. Is he that 2 option?
Yeah.
And I thought he was showing that with the pick and roll with Cade. I'm like, okay, what are you guys talking about? This guy is a number 2. I don't crush the NBA like I used to, so I trust the guys that actually do and know ball, but I just thought he was that viable option, but I cannot, for the life of me, pay a guy that Supermax contract for what he's produced in this 3-game series so far. And maybe it's an overreaction. And like I said, maybe something can happen out of this where he changes my mind back to giving him that super. But as of right now, I can't do it.
It wouldn't be a Supermax. It would be a max.
I thought he got the super was because he made 3rd team All-Pro.
Oh, yeah. I guess that.
So I thought that put him in the Supermax category because these guys with the 65 game rule pushed him up into that.
Okay, you're right, but there is another level when it's like their 3rd contract. So it's not
the half apron,
not as quite as big as it would be.
Grandma's apron or something.
Nonetheless, you're 100% right. Like, this is the question now, and I wonder if he's hurt. You see him like ice in the knee.
Bullshit. I don't want to hear it.
He just looks sluggish.
Nah.
But it's really interesting to see. We talk about this in the NCAA tournament all the time. How it's all about matchups, and the Wendell Carter matchup, and the things, and some of the stuff that
he's a bitch.
But some of the stuff
Carter
like
matchup.
Some of the stuff is because the Pistons don't have the right spacing elsewhere. Like Asar Thompson's being asked about him, and I wish Asar Thompson would just say, hey, part of the problem is me.
Right.
Because nobody's defending me, and I'm just running around, and then I still have to pass it because I can't shoot from 8 feet.
Yeah.
So, that's part of the Duren's problem.
Even inside of that, sometimes with Thompson, you're just like, and
if this is layups. If this is a playoff thing, by the way, and if the NBA wants to make the regular season really, really matter again, if this is a playoff thing, because it is, when you get in the playoffs, it is different. Like, teams scout just you. You're seeing it with the Nuggets right now. You're seeing it with a team all of a sudden has time. Just like in every college game, right? They do these thorough scouting reports. Well, they don't do that in the NBA because you're playing 82 of these damn things. But I would love just once, if this is the change you can make, if this is what you can do when you thoroughly scout to take somebody away because you're in a 7-game series, they should tell people, hey, if you win 65 games in the NBA, automatic right to the conference finals. And that gives somebody the incentive to scout every game like a pro, treat the job like college, try to do it, and hey, if this is what you can do, because Jalen Duren was not this player throughout most of the season. And that's what's been so bizarre about it. A lot of people, if you don't watch the Pistons, he was really good. I did have my doubts about whether he was a true number 2, but I thought he'd earned the money. When we talked to James Edwards before the season, he did not think Jalen Duren was somebody you should pay.
We're dropping MFers now?
And it'll be interesting to see what he does. And we have seen great players have bad series before early in their careers. We've seen great players have bad series later in their careers. Grant Hill had a really bad playoffs early on against the Orlando Magic, and those guys. It does happen, and it doesn't have to define you. But the problem now in the second apron era is you cannot give somebody a massive contract in my book, if they are not capable of growing into being a number 2 on a championship team. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. And so they're going to have to make that decision on that in terms of how much they want to pay him.
Or if there is a reason behind it. Like you said,
Right.
I call bullshit on the injury thing just because I feel like that's an easy crutch to fall back on. Because when you watch this guy all season long, like I mentioned, it's like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
I mean, consistently 3 games in a row, he's been absolute dog shit.
And we may find that afterwards that he's hurt. The other thing that stinks is...
Yeah, but I still doesn't change my mind of wanting to pay the guy, though. All right, so you were injured. I don't, well, you have to be 100% sure. If you're going to pay guys like that kind of money, you have to be 100% sure.
What's so frustrating, too, is you see a guy like Cockburn's old teammate, Desunmu, who is tearing it up for Minnesota right now. For Minnesota right now. And I don't remember exactly what the deal was, but it was a great deal Minnesota got to get him from the Bulls. They did not. He was available. And he looks like exactly the secondary creator the Pistons need right now, right? And that's like, what? How does that... I understand they didn't want to do anything that was like determining entirely of their future because they were looking at Jalen Duren. They don't know who they want to pay. But a guy who wasn't going to cost you much, who you could decide on after the season a little bit, I don't know why.
Does he play guard? Point guard?
Yeah, he's a ball.
Because Dennis Jenkins we thought he was that guy with a 2-way contract, and how well he played it. He was another guy that just disappeared, but you understand it more from Dennis Jenkins than you do with a guy like Jalen Duren. So maybe that's why they weren't making a move, because I felt all year long, I was like, man, Dennis Jenkins, especially when Cade went out with the collapsed lung that people don't like to talk about. Our star player did have a collapsed lung. I don't know why.
The problem is motivation in April for NBA guys is like that's the time if you just play harder than people, you can win a lot of games, and that's what they ran into. Yeah. The good news for the Pistons is this. I mean, first of all, it's shitty for the NBA. There's a lot of stuff right now going on that's shitty for the NBA. They're playing 82 games in an era where that's harder on the body than ever, and guys are going down. And the injuries are piling
These guys
up.
Are pussies.
Injuries.
Dude, come on, stop! Don't give me that.
You telling me that the Achilles injury is that?
Oh, you want to go for the worst injury imaginable?
Well,
Liz Frank,
Ant Edwards.
Of course, I understand those major injuries, like an injury like Tatum had. Yeah, Achilles. I'm saying these guys that are out with a fucking ball bag strain, where they have to be, they're going to be out 2 weeks. We're going to review them after a week. It's just like
DiVincenzo, who tore his Achilles, played all 82 games. Like the advertisement, like the NBA regular season, if they were hoping for an advertisement to like incentivize it, it's completely failed. The team that won 60 games and was the number 1 seed wound up against a team that pound for pound physically matches up pretty well with them and is struggling mightily. You get the guy who played all 82 instead of sitting out and load managing, and he tears his Achilles. Like, this is not what the NBA. If there's ever been an argument for cutting 12 games off the schedule. And
shit, cut half of them then. Does that mean the guys aren't going to sit out on the second leg of a back-to-back? I mean, it's a terrible product, Graham. These guys, there's stoppages. I mean, as much as I give shit to soccer, at least you guys keep it going. There's always momentum and things happening. These guys are spinning their finger for a challenge. They're flopping. The flagrant 1 call, especially in Isaiah Stewart, was absolute bullshit. And by the way, I love Isaiah Stewart. Big beef stew guy, like Tony Dombrowski, I'm sure is. But his shtick is old. It's old. It doesn't work in today's NBA. You can't be that guy, intimidating guy, when they're going to sit there and review every call. That's did he raise his arm back? And we're sitting there watching that shit as, we could be playing the game. So I feel bad for Isaiah Stewart because it's just a different league now, and you can't be. I want to be the bad boy Pistons, but you can't get away with it now.
I'll pump some sunshine into the Pistons situation. Number one, the series isn't over.
No,
but what we ultimately wanted from this season, when you go back to our takes and our conversations throughout the winter, was we wanted this to be an evaluation year. You find out what you have, if you have to make moves, how close you are. And yeah, you hope they're close. But this will take any of the wishy-washy, what do we need to do sort of stuff that they'll be, this is going to take it all out. Like if they lose to Orlando in the first round after winning 60 games, it answers some real questions for you. Yeah. And in that sense, you make some hard decisions and you move forward, and it's easier to make hard decisions, right? And maybe Duren will have great self-awareness in terms of the contract he signs and what they're willing to do there, and who knows? It's hard to say, but it will give them clarity.
But someone will pay him, though, if we aren't, because he's 22 years old. I mean, he is still a beast. That's why I hate to give up on the guy. Yeah. But if you're talking about we have to make a decision at the end of the year, and like you said, if they end up losing to Orlando, I feel like the decision, and Duren plays the same way throughout the next couple of games, then it's easy.
If they lose Duren eventually, and I think he's a restricted free agent still, right, at this point. But if they lose Duren and he were to walk away somewhere else for a max deal, this Jalen Duren, the benefit is you just cross that team who signed him off. That team can never win a title. So if somebody wants to sign
unless
him,
he's playing, goes on this new team and he's a beast.
Well, yeah, unless he really fits.
Right.
But that guy
adds
the problem
something to his game.
But you can only have two of these guys, and that's Duren's problem. If this was 10 years ago, it would be a different conversation. You can't have.
But the frustrating part, though, Graham, is he was right there.
Yeah,
like I was in lockstep with him being the number 2 guy all season.
I think he's hurt. He does not look quick. He does not.
Well, then let's talk about it. Then what do you mean hurt? I know you don't want to give the other team.
Well, he's got ice on a knee. He's got one bandage. He comes in. He looks slow. I don't know.
All right.
Let's.
It's a long season though. These guys are beat up a little bit. I mean,
maybe
they played all of.
Maybe that's
70 games. I mean, come on.
Let's give him the next 2 games. Let's give him the rest of the series to figure it out, and we'll
or the stoppage of play every 4.5 seconds.
We'll reevaluate.
You got to admit though, it's a terrible product, right? Something has to be fixed.
What's frustrating is the teams that I really enjoy watching are struggling. Like the Denver-Minnesota series, which has been okay, which has now been marred by injuries and guys I really like. Like I like watching Ian Edwards. I like watching the Joker. These are guys, and one's injured and one's really struggling, and. I still like what the Spurs have been fun to watch. There's still elements of it I enjoy, but to be honest, when
Portland's terrible though. I mean, come on, how does Portland? They were up like 17, end up losing by 20 at home.
Hey, you give me Rayo Vallecano versus Real Sociedad on a Saturday morning in Serie A. I'm going to watch that over this any day. I'm with you. You don't have to sell me on where.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So, all right, I got an MSU basketball take.
All right.
Obviously, Anton Bonke committed to Michigan State. He's technically in the NBA draft, but he's not an NBA player, so he's going to wind up at Michigan State.
The urinal or portal.
And so I've tried to, since I've sort of been back at things, go watch more and more film on him and get a better sense of what I really think, sort of my own analysis. And there are a lot of things I think he's going to be very good at the Big Ten level. I think. He'll finish well around the rim. I think he's already a 34% three-point shooter, about 1 a game. I think that'll be something that becomes something he improves on. Like it's a natural-looking shot. That's great. I think he will rebound at a decent level. He finishes around the rim well. I mean, I just think there are the questions I have about him are a little bit defensively. I don't know, but that's always the question with a player who's coming into the system having played somewhere else for a couple of years. And it's not like the Trey Fort situation. We've been at 5 other schools but for a big guy and again, I don't think they would recruit a big guy, and they were all in on him to a pretty decent degree that they didn't think was going to be okay. So I think he'll be okay defensively. I don't know to what degree that'll be a strength. And then the other thing I don't know is I think he'll be decent on the pick and roll stuff with Fears, which is huge in the half court. But I don't know, when I watch him, he's quick enough. What is he as a guy? The footage doesn't show. The game I watched, the film I've watched on him
against Temple
was not against.
Oh,
and I've watched a couple different clips of everything I try to get my hands on easily, but. I've not seen a lot of him as a guy who gets up and down the floor, right, on the break. And that's something Michigan State likes to do, and they like their big men to do. So those are things, and he may be fine. It may just not be what Charlotte does. He may be fine there. So there's some questions with him. But I do think, I think he's a pretty good addition. I don't think there are an unlimited number of these guys around college basketball in the portal where there's some guys who may fit a little better, maybe, but there are also some guys out there you have some real questions about who have gotten probably big deals or gone other places. I'll be curious to see, if we ever learn what the number is on how much he got paid. I would guess, I don't know. I would guess with him,
$900,000.
No, he's making north of 1.5.
What?
At least.
What?
Well, look at the numbers that have been floated around for big guys in that market. There's no way he's not making 1.5.
Wow.
Maybe 2. And so that's probably what the standard is for a player in the portal of that caliber right now. And I think he'll be.
So if he's north of 1.5, why is it crazy for a $5 million big man then?
Because that's $3.5 more million. That's a lot more money.
Yeah, but
it's not just
you have to worry about a guy coming in and playing defense and crushing Temple versus Charlotte tape.
You got to find the right fit and all. Look, I don't think he's a sure thing to be a huge difference maker, but I think he stops that from being a hole. The ideal situation is still that they get Carson Cooper back, right? Or the fifth year thing happens. I don't think the fifth year thing's good overall. I think this year for MSU basketball, it would be ideal. We've talked about that a little bit. I think a guy like Jesse McCullough is being, sort of forgotten as a guy that I think has a lot of skills and could develop into a player that's a really good big in the Big Ten if he can do certain things well. He'll be able to shoot well. He'll be able to stretch a defense, which I think could help them a lot. I think he'll be okay defensively. I think he's got an aggressive gene to him, so I think he'll be skilled offensively. We'll see. There's a couple things I'm a little concerned about with him, but overall, I think he could still be a good player, and we're just sort of forgetting about him. And so I think what you're hoping is between him and Bonke and Ethan Taylor, I think will have a role as well. That you have that position in every matchup you're going to face, at least competitive, serviceable, and plus, and it's not ever the weakness that it was 3 years ago. And you want it to be something that is good enough that it allows your other positions where you have true advantages to really have the advantage. And I think it has a chance to be that. He's not a perfect player. I don't think he's a NBA guy. I don't know that he's quite quick enough. I think he's got decent feet. He's got good strength. Obviously, big size, 7'2" guy, 265 pounds. Moves pretty well for that size. So there are some things that aren't perfect, but I think, I can see why they liked him. I can see why they identified him as somebody who would fit for them. And so I think he's more than likely to be their guy at center and more than likely to be good enough. And is he more than good enough? That we'll have to see.
So we kind of know what these guys are making. Because I said $900K and you scoffed and like, oh man, that's way.
Yeah,
we kind of get what these guys in a baseline way of kind of
correct. Here's what I'll say. Somebody told me about fears after the season, like that they thought he would get, and this is not somebody in the program, but this is somebody around the around things. No, this is somebody in more of a money position. That a 3.5 type guy.
Pound the bushes.
And what they were all making last year, those core four guys. I believe, and I could be a little wrong, this was south of $1 million, but it had risen quite a bit. But those numbers are rising year over year, and I don't know to what degree when the bubble bursts and all that stuff, and if it does, and there are lots of questions about all that stuff. But I think when you look at the premium positions, the big man market, and the point guard market, I think you're talking multiple millions. And for a guy who would have had options in a market where it's a little bit of the leverage is on the player of a guy like him, you're going to have to, if it's below 1.5, I would be surprised. And nobody's told me the exact number or anything like that. I would just be very, very
Start
surprised.
Poking around.
Yeah,
Poke.
Yeah. The other thing that's challenging is to get the exact number reliably, so I can share it here is. But I think we are getting to that point though. It was so taboo a while ago. It's like, oh my God, these guys are now making this, and is it fair to share? Well, look, these guys are pros now. They're grown-ups and they're pros. And I get there's a difference between a college kid and a pro to some degree in terms of age sometimes. But you also have these 25-year-old college kids and you have 20-year-old pros. And so why should a 25-year-old college kid who's making more than a 20-year-old pro be treated like a college kid and the pro not? I think that these are all things that we sort of have to wrap our heads around. And I'm less and less concerned with the totals coming out, especially as we move into an era where those sports are being so prioritized differently than other sports, and other sports are going to go away. We saw Arkansas cut, men's and women's tennis this week. We're going to see more and more of that stuff. More and more other sports de-emphasize where they really can't compete or they're not funded, and that may be fine. I'm just saying, it's because there are two sports primarily that are professional sports on campus. And so how we speak about them in terms of financial terms, I think absolutely is a little more fair game than I thought about that a year or so ago, if that makes sense.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
Shout out to Spencer Torkelson for taking roids. That has to be what it is, right? 5 games, with a home run in a row. After we were talking about a couple weeks ago, like, I don't know about torque. We're going to have to make a decision here. I mean, albeit on all fastballs, those 5 home runs. Which, by the way, if you were coaching the LSJ baseball team.
Softball team.
No, I know, but this would have to be baseball.
Gotcha.
Because if you throw underhand pitches, it's not the same for this example. But you're the coach, and all of a sudden the same player you guys have played for 3 games in a row has hit 3 home runs every time you've thrown a fastball. When you'd be like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't throw him a fastball this time around. Especially no, he hit another one. All right, next time he's up, let's maybe think about not throwing a fastball. Nope, no, we did again. All right, anyway, McG, 20 games in a row, he's reached base twice. I mean, come on. His WAR is 2.0 already. I mean, come on, Tony D's getting excited. He's so excited he's not doing videos anymore, so.
Wait a sec, 20 games in a row, he's reached base.
20 games in a row, he's reached base twice.
That's impressive. I didn't realize it was that high. Wow.
I know.
Here's the thing. I trust.
Bullpen sucks, though.
I trust McGonigal a lot more than I trust Torkelson.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because this is, what he does.
Right,
all of a sudden he goes on a tear, and next thing we don't see him until fucking July.
I still, with Spencer Torkelson, and this other teams aren't this stupid, but if they were, I would, the second there was a bit of trade value with Torkelson, I would ship him. Like if he hit home runs in 12 games in a row and all of a sudden somebody was like, you know what, we'll give you a number 3 starter for him. I'd be like, here you go. Let's do that.
I just feel like he's a guy that would go elsewhere and then just start killing it.
I don't think so.
No?
Nope, not anymore.
Maybe that's what Scott Harris thinks. That's why he's, But you can't rid of, what's his value right now, right? 5 straight games? Boom.
Well, here's the thing. And if he's a guy who, the problem is he plays a premium position where you have to be able to hit home runs and drive power, and you have to do something at the plate if you're going to play.
I think Carps could take over, though, first base.
And just have him DH.
Yeah.
But you can bat him late in the lineup, and when he gets hot, I mean, he's not a bad 7-8 hitter, and if he's hot, then ride it. I don't know. I just don't trust the guy. I don't. He's become, and I understand he's hit home runs in the last few games, but
it's 5 straight. I mean, it's not just a few games. It's
I haven't seen any of them, by the way, and I've watched some of the Tigers games. Somehow I haven't seen any of them. He's becoming Omar Infante for me. Like Omar Infante batted like 260. And I never saw him get a hit. I always thought he was the worst player in the world when he was on the 06 Tigers. I was like, why is Omar Infante?
So you've watched every game, but somehow,
well, not all of the games because
Cora's blowing through a diaper on your chest.
Or
that didn't sound right.
Rayo Vallecano versus Real Sociedad is happening, and I'm watching that.
Is that soccer you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I said to make sure.
Great 3-3 game.
Sociodad. That's all I heard.
Great 3-3 game the other day. You would have loved it. It was one of those games where, as I'm watching it, I'm like, boy, and they were chippiness, the players pushing each other. Like, I was like, oh my God, Jason would enjoy this. Like, this is the soccer game I need to get him to watch.
See, that's the problem with you soccer guys. It's like you sit there and think that. When I watch golf and there's a great, it comes down to, Fitzpatrick and his brother for a PGA Tour card. And, Matt Fitzpatrick has to hit a great bunker shot to get it within a foot of the hole. I don't go, man, Couch should be watching this. I just go, man, this is great.
Yeah.
You soccer people just can't let go. Like everybody's got to watch it. I saw the McElhenney and Reynolds Wrexham thing on CBS Sunday Morning. They're trying to. It's like, my God.
It's a good. If you're going to be introduced to soccer, and I know some people get annoyed by Wrexham, but here's the thing: most American soccer fans who have adopted another team are fucking annoying anyway. So like, don't be annoyed by Wrexham because you're a freaking annoying. If you're a Man City fan instead of an Oldham Athletic fan, you're annoying.
It's a cool story though.
Wrexham is a great story. Yeah. The documentary is fun to watch.
It's just, you sit there like, oh, they think these two guys like, oh, anything can happen. It just proves to you anything can happen. It's like, oh, you mean like it just takes 2 celebrities to come to your small town and save it and pump money into it.
And they've also,
that's all,
And even it's still been against the odds. Like a lot of times that it's worked better than anybody could have imagined, better than they could have imagined, and it's happened quicker.
I watched the story. Yeah, it was really,
Yeah. So it's really remarkable. And actually, if you get a chance to watch that full documentary, I think you'd enjoy it.
There's no way.
Okay.
I made it through on CBS Sunday Morning. That's only because Jane Pauley, right? That's why I stayed with it for that. But if we're talking, and that was like a 7-10 minute piece. If I got to watch another 120 minutes of that shit, like, all right, I get it. McElhenney's crying.
120 minutes. I'm talking seasons. There are 5 seasons of it now.
I can't.
Yeah. It's like
I got to watch the Hulk Hogan doc, bro. Come on.
Okay. All right. Well, that's That's fair.
You can't knock a wrestling doc. Those things are undefeated. There is not a bad wrestling documentary. Even if it's a wrestler, you have no idea who it is. It's just amazing.
You know who would look good in a muskox flannel, by the way? Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's a guy that can look good in anything. That's not fair.
But
and McElhenney. Those guys don't count.
I will say this, however. If you don't look like Ryan Reynolds without a muskox flannel, you can look like your best self and the closest you will ever look to Ryan Reynolds by going to gomuskox.com and purchasing a muskox flannel. I'm telling you, without it, I have like 8. Why do you think I wear it so much? I have like 8 chins and man boobs. With it, 2 chins, good physique. It looks like I've been lifting. All the muskox flannel, none of it is exercise.
Look like a Wrexham fan. You need one of those guys.
They also, again, hats and tees. A couple hats I really like. The Mountain Trucker hat. If you go to gomuskox.com, the Muskox Patch Trucker hat. Those 2 hats are outstanding selection. So if during the summer you just want to be a muskox man and maybe it's not a flannel day, you can wear that. Gomuskox.com. And again, if you're buying a flannel, $15 off with the promo code Peacock. We ready to? You got another one? You want to dig into these?
I got a couple more. I got
some
notes from the weekend.
Excellent.
By the way, the Roger Goodell player draft hug, the bro hug, is the new Jim Nantz giving a player a tie. Every time I see it, my balls, I'm like, ugh. And I know the players have to do it because they're making a ton of money. You get drafted and you have to go on stage and Goodell. But it just gives me the heebie-jeebies, that asshole. That Goodell going in and just, it's really creepy. Also, shout out to Nelly Korda for winning the Chevron. I'm a big proponent of women's golf. I think women's golf could be a bigger thing if it was properly. I don't know. Golf has issues even on the men's side of the way they televise things, but Nelly Korda, like an hour and 15 minutes of her final round was not on television, which is criminal in the day's age of where there's so many apps and so many things on. Why, it was a major championship that she won, her 3rd major championship. So shout out to Nelly Korda. And also yesterday, I'm trying to pick up a team since the Red Wings are ass in the NHL playoffs. I pick up the Montreal Canadiens. I'm like, all right, man, I'm the Canadian. I like that. Montreal hasn't won since what, 93 or something like that, the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Montreal always looked cool when I was a young kid watching
uniforms.
Watching the playoffs, though, like on the CBC when I was like 15, 16 years old. Like Toronto and Montreal looked like foreign, crazy lands to me. So anyway, I'm rooting for Montreal, and of course they lose in overtime or whatever.
No, it
wasn't overtime. Maybe it was regular time, but they lost. So.
I always root against the Carolinas and the Floridas, the people that don't really care. I want the Canadian teams.
And the Anaheim, the Mighty Ducks, those jerseys look like ass.
Yeah, what is it, 1992 still?
Yeah.
Question, do you know who Nelly Korda's brother is?
Oh, Billy Korda?
No. Sebastian Korda. He's a professional tennis player, pretty high up in the rankings right now.
Because her dad was a tennis guy. Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I know her sister's also a golfer.
Yeah, right, and he was a pretty good golfer as well. But yeah, he Korda and just in Miami this past like 2-3 weeks ago beat Alcaraz. So he's Korda's like
But now Alcaraz is out with an injury. Now is that like a Jalen Duren thing where?
No, it was before
the injury.
Before the injury.
Can't believe I lost to Nelly Korda's brother.
Yeah,
the wrist.
That's what. Anyway, What else you got?
That's it, man.
All right,
I'm good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. We're gonna dig into the Lions here, of course, more because there's some good takes from you.
I figured.
Yeah. You wanna just dig right in?
Eric Schultz up first. The next move for MSU basketball should be to bring in a Zapawa-like big to come off the bench and add rebounding and defense. Doing so would kill McCullough's minutes, though, which is why it won't happen. This is, of course, assuming Cooper isn't able to come back. If he's eligible, then keeping him is obviously the first choice.
Yeah, I don't think you want to kill McCullough's minutes. I still think if he is a potentially really valuable player, really good player. I think he ran into a spot where he is in his career, where he was being injured and losing last offseason. He just wasn't anywhere near as good as the 2 big guys in front of him last year. And, but I think he showed some things. I still think he's got a chance to be really good. And I think it might be hard to bring in as a Paula type who plays over him. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, obviously, if Cooper comes back, you do it, right? Because what he gives you is exactly what this team would like to have. Like, he's the ideal center for what they would be next year, and I think Cooper's got room to grow. I think Cooper has another level as well to his game. I don't know if you mess. I don't think there's if they add to the roster. You lose Divine Ugochukwu, can you have Josiah Jervis play a little point guard in an emergency situation if you had to as a third guy? Because there's no minutes to be had anywhere. I don't think. I don't think there's any minutes to be had left on the roster unless you're bringing in somebody like Cooper who's at a level that's above the guys who are there. Like, you go to the 4 spot with Cam Ward, with Caleb Glenn, maybe even a little Cohen Carr. Go to the 3 spot with Carr, with Jordan Scott. You go to the 2 spot with Scott and Stewart and Kurt Tang. You go to the 1 with obviously Jeremy Fears Jr. and Carlos Medlock Jr. And then now we know the big guy situation. I don't. If you're going to bring somebody in, it's somebody who really understands their role is to be an emergency situation. So, and I think that's why they lost Ugochukwu. I think I think he could see it. And I think they knew that when they brought him in. I think he knew that probably when he came in a little bit. So I don't see them making another move of anybody notable unless it is like a Cooper type.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I give up on Cohen Carr.
Dominic next. Number 1, Anton Bonke is fine. It's a necessary piece, even if a tad underwhelming. But if there's a real opportunity for Cooper Jacks to return, then that has to be the focus. If Tom is going to dig in, then we need something external like this that'll satisfy his delicate 1984 sensibilities. And 2, I've heard some bizarro shit in my day. Tatum texting a deceased Kobe, Trump claiming election fraud, my W-word ex telling me she was a Craigslist sugar baby, but Graham naming his daughter after a grandmother-in-law who died by either childbirth or raw chicken is insane. I was still trying to figure that out like the other morning. Bait question. Attending a wedding that the W word happens to be in next week. On a scale of 1 to 17, how many whiskey sours should I consume? And for Jason, on a scale of 20 to 80 mgs, how many sativa mgs should I consume?
Boy.
Well, it depends on what kind of party you want to make this, to be honest with you. Like, if you want to just ignore her and be the bigger person, I would say go with 30 mgs to start off. Maybe just do 1 whiskey sour.
Yeah,
maybe add mgs after that. But please tell me you're bringing a date, though, right? Like, I hope he brought a date. Like, I would go.
I think
bonkers on
it would be worth hiring an actual W word that was hot.
I totally hire a prostitute.
Yeah, right.
Can you do that in Lansing? Like, I mean, I don't know where you go.
Well, there's got to be some high-end stuff somewhere. You can bring them in from out
Lansing?
of town. And from out of town if you have to. I don't
Vegas?
know.
I mean, Vegas is the only high-priced ones I know.
There's got to be a high-priced service somewhere. Anyway, you're not even looking for. You're just
Isn't that like
escorts.
trafficking across state lines though? That's like some P Diddy shit.
No, it's like an escort thing. It's not necessarily even for the sex. He's got to bring a hot.
You just want to hang out?
He's got to bring a hot date. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's
all.
That part. That's all that matters.
And then just part ways at the end of the night.
Fine. Yeah. You don't have to do you don't have to do anything else. I'm not saying. Look, all I'm saying is.
Sorry, we got to keep this legal. You got to go right home.
But the other question I have for you, Dominic, and I know
I like how we make it that Dominic couldn't just bring a good-looking woman.
Well, that's true.
Get on the apps.
Do that as well.
Dominic needs to bring a hooker.
And if you've already not RSVP'd to +1, you're going on your own. That's fine too. But what we need to figure out here is how you react to certain levels of alcohol and weed. Like if you're somebody who's just like at your best, well, you don't want to be as sloppy and embarrassing.
Don't mix prescription drugs.
Yeah,
that was my mistake at Cody's thing. That's what I mixed.
Is that what happened?
Oh yeah. That prescription meds and booze was not. Yeah, I was doing that for a while. It's not a good. It just is such a. It's man, you're just playing with fire.
Don't be Jason at Cody's wedding, right?
I wasn't bad until the end, and where my wife had to help me pee, and then she helped me out.
Your wife. It was your second date, man.
I mean, kind of. It was second, third. That's debated, but yeah.
Okay. Either way,
But I thought I had a good time up until a certain point.
Yeah.
When people got mad at me, and then I had to.
Don't reach that point is what we're trying to say.
That's the prescription meds, though.
Yeah. Okay. Just know your limit. Nowhere near your best. Like we all have certain level of like in the zone drinking where you got a buzz going when
because you're going to see her and you're going to be you're going to get angry. And that's what you don't want. And that's what the prescription.
Like I have a very good understanding of when I'm writing a column and drinking what I can do and what I can't do. 1 beer improves efficiency. The whole column gets better. 2 beers, I think the column's better. It is not. 3 beers, I think the column's amazing. It sucks. So like I understand 4 beers, holy hell.
I think as readers, we should get to choose.
Yeah.
For our $19.99 a month,
Yeah.
I feel like we should get to pick which gram we need. 3 beer gram.
If I've got to write quickly, 1 beer helps a ton. It does. There's no question about that. I once at the cocktail hour between a wedding and the wedding reception.
Yeah.
It was on Labor Day weekend, right after Michigan State played their Friday night game, and I'd flown that morning to a wedding outside Rochester, New York, and I had this little window to write a follow column, and I wrote one of my better columns in like an hour, which usually takes a lot longer than that, just sitting in a place right outside. 1 beer, boom, it was perfect. So know your spot, what you can tolerate, and if you can bring a really hot date, even if you have to pay for it, do it.
Are you going to answer what you're naming the daughter? I mean, I've had a couple questions about like the name Cora, and the grandmother-in-law explanation was quite bizarre. Is there anything you need to add, or you're good with it and want to just move on?
Yeah, well, a couple things. One, I probably should get clarification on this. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, my wife looks at it like this was somebody who was very important to their family in terms of like she loved her grandmother, who's this would have been a great grandma. Is what it been, great grandma-in-law, and so she loved her grandma. I knew her grandma. Her grandma's the one I learned euchre from. She was a competitive SOB. It was fun to play with. She was great, and I knew her in like her 90s. But and then so the great grandma never got to really be a part of things. So she died very quickly. So, yeah, but the question of how she died is of some debate.
And that's the tribute you give her. I mean, there's people out there that think that she died of raw chicken.
It's possible. This is what I've been told.
I know, but you need to lie. You need to come up with something better than that. If you did find out it's raw chicken,
the other half of it is
you going to tell Cora that she was named after.
I'm going to show her the movie Titanic and say this little girl who died in the Titanic in the movie. This is who you named it.
All right, fair enough. All right, Alex James next. MSU is and was more than a quality center away from the national title contention. The team needs a reliable shooter or two and a versatile defender. Carr, Tang, and Scott are nice pieces, but not national championship caliber starters. He said it. I didn't.
Yeah. So here's the thing about that. You don't know that. I mean, guys, the whole thing about college basketball is guys develop one year to the next. I mean, guys aren't the same players they were early on. Xavier Tillman went from being like an off-the-bench guy to like a premier defender in the game. You know, like guys just develop and they change. Jeremy Fears went from a point guard who sometimes wasn't even the best point guard on the team last year to a guy who was an All-American, right? And so you give somebody like Jordan Scott, who was better than people thought, another year. I'm very curious to see what he is. You give Kurt Tang another year. Now, there are elements of Kurt Tang that I think have limitations. But I think, can he become a knockdown shooter, somebody who's reliable in the college game? I do. Cohen Carr, somebody who's very self-aware of his limitations. Cohen Carr, who is so self-aware, I mean, he didn't even declare for the NBA draft, or hasn't at this point. You know, like,
is it really declaring, though?
Well, if you go and test the waters, is what I'm saying.
No, but are you declaring that? I don't know.
It's
more than likely you're coming back. I don't know.
Carr was a really good defender last year, especially in certain key games. Scott was I think is an upper tier defender. I don't know who you get that's better than this. They brought in a guy and Jervis, who they're hoping is ready as a combo guard, ball shot creator. That I mean, there are a lot of things to like about the next year's roster, and maybe they are. Again, we don't know that they could be further away from title contention than we think because, again, I'm talking about a freshman who they're hoping is really good. You're talking about development, but they might not be. There's just no way to know that. And they definitely, I think, have a shot to be an elite team next year. I think more of that will depend on what they get out of the 5 position than anywhere else. I have a fair bit of confidence in the rest of that roster.
Andrew Gauthier next. I like Anton Bonke. I like the Lions draft. Can you give me a reason to love either?
I can't. I mean, I think there's reasons to like both. Do you love the Lions draft or do you like the Lions draft?
I guess I could say I love the draft because it filled some needs. But you could also look at it, I mean, like a couple of the Michigan guys like Derek Moore. I mean, is he any good? I don't know. Like these guys from Michigan, Rolder, the linebacker, we needed another linebacker. So they filled a lot of holes. But they also traded up to get more, which I don't know if they needed to. I'm a big Blake Miller guy. He's going to come in and start possibly right away. So, yeah. I mean, I haven't crushed a lot of tape. By the way, there's a guy on Twitter. There's a new crushing tape thing out there. Russell Brown, this guy that does draft coverage. Very good, by the way. I'm not shitting on him, but he goes, I have tape loading. Like he was talking about, I think he was talking about Rolder. He's like, I have tape loading right now. And I was like, oh, man, that makes you sound like you know ball. I might have to start saying that. I got tape loading right now, but before we talk about it,
I'm going to load some tape on Anton Bonke here. Load.
See, now the way you say it right there, that just sounds really gross.
Sounds sexual.
Yeah. It's just really weird. Maybe it's your voice, but yeah, I just think, I mean, yeah, you can love the Lions draft.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, with any draft, you're not going to know it, right? That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah. You fill gaps, you know, as the fans sit there and bitch and complain about the gaps that we need to fill, and then you fill the gaps. Okay. Hey. I'm a fan. David Jackson, check the box score on the last Pistons loss. The 2 stars stat lines were about what we'd expect if we played Zapawa and Fort big minutes and told them to shoot 8 for 23 and 3 for 10. Are you kidding me? What in the name of Bob Lanier and Howard Porter happened? Bonus. It's time for the NCAA to make a decision. It's cruel for this proposal to be out there dangling, leaving players like Cooper confused and in limbo. Then there's the effect on the coaches, not knowing what they should do. Do it or don't do it, but make a damn decision.
Well, the problem is they saved it to this point. Like, you want to get this right, and I think they're going to move fairly quickly here. And I do think I would be surprised if players who are just now seniors, 4-year seniors, aren't included in this. But when does it all go down? And we saw on Sheehan's podcast that Cooper has expressed interest in returning. And so, we'll see what that looks like when it happens. And, Cooper's a guy who I think will get a look at the next level. And I think if he came back, he's a guy who might develop into a situation where he could play himself even a little more certain into that. But
is it shocking that he has interest in coming back?
No,
it's a no-brainer. Of course he'd want to come back.
Because I think he's self-aware to know how far his game has come quickly late, too, offensively. Like, think who he was offensively. There was a good portion of his career where in the half court, MSU was kind of 4-on-5 with him a little bit. And he was...
Missed layups.
And he was good at handoffs. He understood that. Like, he wasn't somebody who took dumb shots or anything like that or couldn't play within the flow of the offense, but he was pretty limited. And that really changed this year. And that was a big deal. And, his shot looks good. Didn't take a lot of them, but it looks good. I think he probably should have taken more shots. And defensively, I think he can do a lot of things. And he's, 6'11", pushing 7 feet. And he's I can defend a ball screen like at a pretty good level. I would I think he's curious, just like MSU is, that what he can be with another year at the college game. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, none of this stuff, all this stuff's a mess. I mean, and the timing of it is ridiculous, and it just makes it hard on people. But if they're going to do this, the effects are going to be bigger than Carson Cooper. And I get for Michigan State, that's what matters to people right now, and that's fine. But it's going to affect roster spots on teams throughout college basketball. And I'll be pissed off, frankly. You want me to root against you? Boot a guy who's a freshman, or boot somebody who's already committed to your team off your team because you're bringing somebody back for a 5th year. That'll piss me off.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Spartan 231, number 1, people are too quick to downplay Jesse's potential improvement and impact next year. Do we forget that multiple years of development does to big men? It's so rare at MSU for big men to be playable right away. And 2, with transfer portal news taking up April and part of May, why is it still in April, especially in Michigan? It's too cold. Move it to June or July when it's warm. Have tailgating, hot dogs, beer. Who says no? It's close to season when people actually care.
Wait a second. What are we moving? Oh, you're talking about the spring game, I think, here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the problem is the graduation is these schools, like college is now like a 12-week semester with 3 weeks off and 16 holidays, and you're out by the end of April, and you take a month off at Christmas. I mean, and then you do that 8 times and they give you a degree. It's kind of bullshit, frankly, but nonetheless, they're done by May. That's the problem. And so you're not going to have kids. Now, I understand that they come back in June to start workouts, and if you wanted to do something in June, you could maybe do it then. And I think that you can go to more of a pro style mini camp stuff, but I don't think that's going to work for a spring game. And when you get to July, you're already talking football season. You're getting close. And the beauty of this market, one of the things I love about this market is Moneyball, that we don't have to suffer through the slog of talking about just MSU football as the thing. Like in every other market, it's like you get to June, it's like countdown 100 days to football. In July, nobody gives a rat's ass about football. Even in some of the years where people were hopeful about football, Moneyball gets that. People are talking about MSU basketball. It's great. You have this little, it just breaks it up. It's nice. So you can't have it in July because nobody gives a shit about football in July, and that's one of the beautiful things about this market. Agree with you on McCullough. I just think, what somebody is one year is not what somebody is the next in college all the time, and there is huge development, a huge part of that. And we had our friend Trey Rice last time, who is a Michigan fan, but it was just sort of shitting on the roster. And look, it's what was this year will not be next year's team, even the same guys. That's just not how it is in college basketball. You have some guys who have certain limitations, and if you can have a glaring hole and you need to fill it. And they went out and got Anton Bonke because I think you cannot count on what they have at the 5 being enough. But I wouldn't give up on it.
Trick next. Let's say you were in charge of the new revenue share and NIL budget for football. How are you divvying up between high school recruiting, player retainment, and the transfer portal?
I don't know. I would have to look at what the market was dictating everywhere. But this is what I do know. Be it retainment, portal, high school recruiting, offensive and defensive line would be where the bulk of it was, and offensive line especially. I would try it because I believe that's a place Michigan State could succeed. I would, you can go out and find, receivers at lower levels who want to play, and you're going to have to make some decisions there. You always want to have a quarterback. I would have a backup quarterback salary spot that was always, pretty nice. So you always had a second guy on the roster that could get you through a game or two if things went wrong. But, yeah, I'd prioritize the offensive line at an outsized amount, for sure.
Rug and Tub next. Hot take, Josiah Jervis will replace Jordan Scott as MSU's 3 at some point in the season. Ironically, he will have a Jordan Scott moment or two that pushes him into the starting role, especially with the way Jordan finished the season last year and baked. People who claim a goldfish as a pet are so irritated. We should have them take them outside of the tank to play and take that big-ass glass tank on walks to prove to them they shouldn't be considered as a pet.
Goldfish, a pet or not?
Kind of like a beta fish, right? Like you don't have to do much with a beta fish either. I still consider it a pet.
I do too.
I do. Like it's good for like a younger kid. My mom got me a beta fish when I lived with her. Like back in the day, she was at like an apartment, could not have animals, so she did let me get a beta. I mean, it isn't the greatest pet. I don't know who's bragging. I mean, if these people are bragging about having a fish like that, then yeah, they're pretty much ass, I think.
When I lived in Kalamazoo,
you did.
I did. I had the last place I lived. I had a beta fish named Gil that I just I kept on the table. Names. Kept on the
cat, dog.
Well, Gil is from what About Bob, right?
Oh,
and that's where I got
it because they have gills.
No, it's
gonna be called Gilly.
Also, great movie if you haven't seen it. What About Bob?
The best.
Anyway, but I enjoyed it, and I when I was writing a column or writing a story, I'd look at the fish, say, what do you think about this lead? And I'd talk to it. So it gave me company when I was single, living alone, that sort of thing. So I don't know that it's not a, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Talking to it, man.
Yeah.
What do you think of this line? Gilly. All right, John Johnson. Gambling will eventually be the reason ratings drop. Betting $25 parlays here and there had some value. Now it's all trash odds, and you're just losing it anyway. Now I've been conditioned it's not as fun without money on the game, so I find games hard to watch because I stopped betting.
Well, this is something interesting. I thought this was a really good take from John, because I think there is, you and I have talked, when I talked to you last week about becoming a Coventry City fan and going to root for them every week, every game next year, but not put money on them. You said you called it betting or watching the game naked or clean? What did you
raw
call it?
dogging it?
Raw dogging.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like when
great.
people get on a plane, they don't have any entertainment. It's another bit that I don't understand why people would do that to themselves.
So raw dogging it. Sorry,
Yeah.
we'll start this bit over because I struggle to talk. But
It's all right.
there is something to when you get into it and you start betting on a lot, trying to enjoy things without a little bit of money on it. And that's a challenge for some people. And I do think there is a danger in that if people get turned off by it, but all of a sudden games they used to enjoy without anything on it now need money to have any interest.
And you're going to get sick of the sport altogether because it's going to remind you of how much money you lost every time you tune into it. And yes, he's right. I still try to do an NBA single game parlay, and it's just really like, I don't know. I as much as golf is really a tough thing to gamble on, I'm actually not betting as much. If it might sound crazy, but with 4 days and some of the low amounts you put on these bets because the odds are higher, but you don't win as often in golf because it's just kind of almost impossible sometimes. But
I think.
But I think he has a great point. I could see people getting absolutely sick of the sport.
100%. And I do find like I don't bet anywhere near as much as I used to do, and I found that I can enjoy games again in certain like tennis matches or soccer games.
Yeah, that's the thing that's saving it is that I do tune into sports and I just watch them without having to have money on it.
Correct.
And it has been an issue at times in my life in the past couple of years, but as of right now, I can still watch. I still have sporting events on that I have no money on whatsoever. So that's still.
And one of the things that I would,
people being different.
If you're trying to wean yourself off, right, not go cold turkey but you're losing money and you need to take a break or something, futures bets are a great way to do that. Like you have, if you put a couple $100 on a team at the beginning of the year to have to win a certain amount of games or whatever it might be, that allows you all year. It's only, it's you're not going to win a great deal at the end of the year, and if it's 162 baseball games to win $200, that's not a lot of money.
But
on
it's
each
easier
game.
said than done, though. If you're doing that and you're able, that's all you can do. You have it beat already. It's like me with drinking. I could not just go out to dinner and have 2 drinks and then go home and go to bed. Like the party had to keep going.
But it can help you enjoy, like for example, in tennis, if I, at the beginning of a tournament, if I have 3 or 4 futures bets on somebody, it adds to the excitement of that, and I don't feel inclined to bet on a match or anything like that. So yeah, but you're not wrong, John. I think there are lots of, and we're only 5 years in Michigan to being able to do this,
and a lot of it is it's the sports book's fault. It's like they can't even tickle your balls. You know you're going to get the money back, but you got to let these people win a little bit. You got to, the numbers are so crunched and not fun that it's just ruining it. You have to have some sort of level where guys especially like me, are going to end up putting the money back in or something like that. You're not going to go broke with guys like me. So why not have the odds and make them a little more fun? Possibility to win. So TC Brunzi next. Number 1, I cannot think of any aspect of sports today that are better than they were in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. While everyone is bigger and stronger now, the contests, the storylines, the competition, and personalities cannot compare to past eras. And 2, Mendoza will end up in the NFL Hall of Fame. It's still up in the air whether Hondo will enter the Journalist Hall of Fame.
Well, he will tell people he's in the Journalism Hall of Fame.
Is there a Journalist Hall of Fame?
Well, there are different Hall. We have Michigan.
Do they
Hall
call
of
it the
Fame.
Mitch Album Hall of Fame?
We have Media Hall of Fames all over the place.
Of course,
yeah, and we pat ourselves on the back and put everybody in them. But that's a whole different issue. Sorry,
I agree.
To the first one, there are elements of sports that are better now because they're easier to see them, right? Like,
oh yeah,
they're more accessible. Like I have become a massive soccer fan, as we've talked about. I couldn't have done this when I was a kid. Like this stuff wasn't on. It wasn't available to me. Mm-hmm. And if it had been, I mean, my dad's British. He was a soccer fan growing up. I probably would have been a huge soccer fan.
He was a bloke.
He was a bloke, yeah. So so there are elements of it that are better. Are there things that were?
But with the personalities, I just think these guys doing all of these podcasts, and these guys are everywhere, and the ad revenue that these guys are doing, these guys don't say no to anything. It's like Jordan Spieth is doing a fucking DraftKings or FanDuel ad. I'm like, dude, you have $100 million. Like, why are you you're giving out some prop thing, Jordan Spieth? You don't need to do these things. And back in the day when you just read a Sports Illustrated, like you could connect to a player.
Well, that's
because you don't know everything about them. I don't want to know so much about my favorite sport athletes because some of these things need to be hidden away so you can just read a column and just envision what this person is like.
Right. There's two sides of this. In some ways, it was better not to know everything. But the other thing was these guys used to make themselves available to great writers at like Sports Illustrated, and you used to read those, and you get great profiles, and they weren't so worried about, like, because that used to be their only way to share who they were to the public. Now they can do it themselves, but you're getting their version of it.
Right.
And so that's not the real version.
Like Amon Ra has his podcast, and like especially during the NFL season, and like having guys on from opposing teams, it's just so foreign to me. Like, I don't like it.
By the way, there was a USC receiver went, I believe, in the first round of this draft, and everybody was comparing him to St. Brown.
Of course.
And what annoyed me is nobody brought up the fact that St. Brown was a fourth-round pick. Yeah. And I remember I thought he looked like Greg Jennings. It was a second-round pick. And at the time he was drafted, I saw a ton of similarities in that. And he's obviously overplayed the fourth-round thing. I just want somebody to go back and say, why was that guy a fourth-round pick if the guy who's compared to him all these years later is a first-round pick?
Especially if you talk to his dad in the pre-draft or something like that. If you got to know those guys and saw how much he trained, like when he started doing that and his mentality, that's why it clicked with the Lions. And that's why there's a lot of teams kicking their own ass right now going, man, we should have looked into this guy more. Because I don't know how you don't talk to the guy. By looks-wise, you'd go, I don't know if I want to risk a first-round pick. But
like, to me, maybe even if he wasn't a first-round guy, he's a second-round guy for sure. Like, he looks, and he knew it pretty quickly with the Lions.
Professor Jalen Duren has cost himself $100 million in the last week in bonus. If a boy, what were the odds your child would be named Tyrone? And was the name discussed?
It has been made clear to me. First of all, Elizabeth hates when I use the word Tyrone as my potential son's name. So I was well aware long before this, because she hates this bit. I mean, she absolutely hates this bit when I say I want to name my son Tyrone. It's like one of those things that she cringes. She doesn't want me to say in front of people. It doesn't, it's like it's not. So
it's like when I say gyro when we go to a restaurant. Right? Give me the chicken gyro. T just goes, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
White trash MFer.
There was 0% chance.
Hey, you guys, let me get them quesadillas.
Tyrone Couch was going to happen.
But would you have say in another one whatsoever? I just don't think that you have a say.
I have a say.
Oh,
I had a bigger say in this. If it had been something I didn't, a name I didn't like, I would have said so. I knew.
You had so much of a say. It was a bit part in Titanic. And
I like the name, too.
It's a great grandmother that no one really knows died of some chicken disease.
No, but it's a good alliteration. Cora Couch.
Like, Graham, what's your idea?
It's a strong name. My dad's name was Chris Couch. It has the same Cora Couch. I like Cora. I like the way it sounds. I like it.
Yeah.
I was good with it. I was good with it really, really early on. No, and we even waited until she was born to make sure she fit. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, my wife was supposed to be Chloe. That's what her parents thought. And she came out like just screaming mad. And they're like, that doesn't look like a Chloe. And they named her Elizabeth. And so we wanted to make sure she fit the Cora, and it did. She did. Yeah.
Just don't call her Tyrone.
No Tyrone.
Peasy. Number one, never seen a player play themselves out of a payday like Jalen Duren has this series. Dude is carved out of marble and 7 feet tall, but playing like a mouse. And two, top priority for Trajan Langdon has to be secondary creation. Dennis is a nice story, but won't get it done at this level.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and you have to figure out how to.
Really, we're ready to give up on Dennis Jenkins though after a couple games too. Like, I don't know, all season long, he seemed like a guy that could play in this league, and
no, he's going to play in the league again.
Not to get us to the next level.
He's not your secondary creator. Like that's what I mean. I don't think you give up on him as a player.
Gotcha.
You like the problem is all these guys got to get slotted in, and you got to. I think he was better than who's the guy they had last year that's got the streak in his hair, the German who went out west. Schroeder. Yeah. I think he was better than Schroeder, and Schroeder wanted a ton of money. So that's the thing. It's what these guys want, right? It's how much is he somebody who can play in the league for the next decade? If he's playing at this level, 100%. Can he be a valuable part of a rotation? But these guys, you have to also show up in the playoffs, and they haven't.
Spartholomew, Pistons will lose this series and follow the typical Detroit blueprint. Oh, we're actually not that close, so we're going to stick to our plan and let our guys develop. I can't wait.
I don't think they're going to do that because you can't do that anymore. It'd be one thing if this was a year ago when you didn't have to make a decision on paying Jalen Duren, but you have to make that decision now. So like that's the difference.
And you're in that upper echelon where you're winning 60 games, so you have to make different moves.
Correct.
Right? I mean, is Karis LeVert going to be on this team?
No.
Duncan Robinson. I like Duncan Robinson, but will he be here now? I mean,
well, and I think
who knows with Herter? Like
again, the story isn't completely written. They're down 2-1 in this series.
That is true.
And
it feels like it's over though.
And right, and so if it turns around, if they get through this series and then they get a decent matchup and say they get to the conference finals, still we maybe have a different conversation about some of these guys. They still have a chance to change the conversation, but it's not great.
Kurt Wisniewski next. The Lions draft could have been an A-, but Brad being Brad followed his RAS scoring system and picked a wide receiver, so B-. And bonus, Michigan State football will make a bowl this year and finish 8-4.
8-4 is that's baked right there. If you just go through the MSU football schedule, you can see like if everything went right. Hold on, give me 1 second here. All right, so let's do some best case scenario MSU football here. Toledo, okay, they can win that game. Toledo's going through a transition a little bit too, coaching wise. Eastern Michigan, okay, 2 wins. Nebraska at home. We saw them play Nebraska. Nebraska was not that good last year. I'm not sure Nebraska will be that good this year. The winnable game at home, so they could be 3-1. Wisconsin. That's on the road in Madison, but it's still Wisconsin has not been overwhelming for a while. So say somehow they're 4-0 or 4-1. Illinois at Spartan Stadium. Now, is Illinois going to be? Are they like consistent right now? Illinois is a much more seasoned program than MSU and a better place than MSU. I don't think they're going to win that game. So let's say 4-2, even though it's at home. Northwestern at home could be winnable. 5 wins. They could be at 5 wins by October 17th. UCLA in Pasadena. UCLA was dog shit, even though they beat Michigan State last year. So that's 6. So, again, the over 3.5, like when you just talk about possibilities for games they could win, and they could lose a lot of these games too. If you get 3.5 or an over-under, it looks pretty smart to go over because they could be at 6 wins with, they could be 6-2 going into the Michigan game on November 7th, coming off a bye that's in Ann Arbor. Let's say they lose it. Obviously that's not what anybody wants. They're going to, I know MSU fans want to win that, but let's be reasonable right now. We're just doing best case scenario or a reasonable best case scenario.
April 27th is the first time we run down the schedule.
There you go.
Man.
Washington at home. I think Washington's a more seasoned program. So let's say they lose that too. So they're 6-4. Oregon at home, probably not going to win that. 6-5. Rutgers on the road. Rutgers could be a mess. Who knows what they'll be. That would be 7-5. So 7-5, unless they beat Michigan, Washington, Oregon, Illinois, and or Notre Dame. 7-5 is the max, and that's with winning at Wisconsin, beating Nebraska at home. So like getting to 8-4, like it doesn't seem feasible. I mean, obviously we don't know what any of these teams will be, and teams can be worse and better than you think. But it seems like best case scenario, it's a real charmed year, and they beat teams they're capable of beating. They're probably looking at 7-5, and that would be, again, that's not what I would predict, but I'm just saying everything goes right.
Lions reply guy next. Number 1, Graham, can you tell your journalist brethren that their rankings mean nothing? I'm sick of seeing these guys trash NFL GMs for past 9 guys consensus ranked high. If 32 MFin NFL what? MFin NFL.
Oh, sorry, mother. It was.
Oh, MFin.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's censor over here. The FCC over there. Fucking. GMs disagree with you nerds, then maybe you should STFU and go crush some more tape.
He actually wrote this. He censored himself.
All right. 2, Lions taking 2 Michigan guys will annoy the fan base on this show, I'm sure. But Lions fans will love more. He plays similar to Hutchinson, not giving up on plays, and is relentless. Plus, I expect McNeil to be fully healthy this year. The defensive line is going to end up being a strength for us.
Well, let's hope that's the case. If that's the case, it's going to be a better year, right? It just hasn't. That hasn't been.
I hope McNeil's great.
Yeah, that would be
a nice surprise. But
yeah, no. Look, in terms of mock drafts and people saying that, when you grade a draft, it's kind of ridiculous because nobody knows at that moment. You're basically grading what people are excited about or not excited about, or what you think is a reach or isn't a reach. But
or really, some people can do it within need. Like, what did the team need? Did they fill that need and then give a grade? I don't mind clicking on those. I don't mind. I don't know. It's just kind of, if it's a dull kind of part of the sports year, I'll click on some just to see what they say. I don't take it serious one way or the other, right?
And all these folks who do this should go back and do it. What the draft 5 years ago. This is what I had. This is where I was right and wrong. You want credibility? Show us your track record on this stuff.
Yeah. Matt Salisbury next. Number 1, I think the Lions nailed the draft, I think. 2, some MSU fans are unbearable with the Lions admin using the pick of Moore against MSU. And 3, not really a take, but I remember when my son was about 3 months and was sitting on my chest and blew out a diaper on me. Prepare, Graham.
Oh, I'm ready. She's had a couple that are nothing's come out of the diaper. We had a few moments. All right, sorry.
It's great. We don't need a full
the
description.
So people were upset. The picture of Moore was against MSU. That stuff. Don't be overly sensitive to that. I mean, it's
or is it people on Twitter just seeing it and are bored and wanted to fire a tweet off? Who cares?
I know. Just don't. But true. If I'm the admin, that's not the picture I choose. But nonetheless, don't be overly sensitive because it's going to alienate parts of my fan base. You know what? It's not going to do. Yeah. Stop anybody from being a Lions fan.
If it does, that's impressive.
Yeah,
and you're standing proud and strong. But Max, I'm worried that Los agrees with Brad Holmes' draft strategy this year. That can't be good. Right. I don't know if there's one person I could give a shit less about their opinion about the Lions or any other sports topic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Than your boy Los. So.
I didn't see what he said. So he was
no one
was
had.
all in?
No, I don't think anyone did.
Nobody saw it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it's
right. You can tell the headline from a mile away of who it is.
Yeah. Well, it's
is Brad Holmes on the hot seat? I'm sure it started with that.
Yeah. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we've got many more of your takes, including some good ones. Next, Janet in Plymouth with some stuff on Max Bulla and Alan Haller, Susie Merchant.
Whoa.
Lots of stuff coming up. There's a tease for you, right?
Wow.
Couch of the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannel.
Don't fast forward. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. Visit GoMuskox.com. Look your best self. You'll love the quality. You'll love the look. People will notice you, and they'll notice you don't have that chin you used to have. And, even in the summer, cool nights at the beach, in the backyard, whatever it might be, GoMuskox.com.
Peacock.
And Peacock for $15 off your flannel purchase. All right, Jason.
All right, Janet from Plymouth. On the last show, Graham said Bulla's Rose Bowl suspension in 2014 is the most frequent old Spartan lore he's asked about. What are some of the other big ones? Do these make the list? Were donors really courting Urban Meyer to be our coach in 2023? And did Meyer really fly into Lansing to meet with Haller? And, excuse me, what really happened with D'Antonio's heir apparent Luke Fickell in the 11th hour in 2020? And what really led to Susie Merchant's abrupt resignation in 2023?
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah, I mean, these are good ones because they are up there with sort of the things that people don't have great clarity on. There's a lot of with Meyer. He did not meet with Alan Haller. That I can say with certainty. He didn't fly in to meet with Haller. That is at least
not even a phone call.
Well, that is at least my understanding. That the levels to other degrees which there was interest is separate from Haller are different. With Luke Fickell, that's sort of an interesting story that I don't have entirely on the record. But yeah, anyway, but
so Susie, blink twice if it's true.
Yeah, Susie Merchant though, I mean it was not her decision to step down, and so that and so there's that part of it as well. So yeah,
that's the whole story. Or?
No, there's more to it, and I got to remember what I actually have on. Sometimes I've been told things that I'm like, right now I'm like on the spot. I'm like, wait a sec, do I? Yeah. So I need to be a little careful sometimes.
Someone slip him an edible. Let's get these stories out.
Yeah.
Bob in Fort Myers next. Number one, what are your thoughts on the Diana Rossini and Coach Mike Vrabel scandal? This affair may have been going on for 6+ years, and her eldest son is 5 or 6 years old, and she named the boy Michael. And 2, I thought Max Bulla's non-response to why he missed the Rose Bowl was gutless. Max makes $700,000 a year to be a linebacker coach at a public university. Reporters ought to ask him again and again until he gives a real answer.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great answer.
But why does it matter how much he makes? I don't like that. Like, why? Just because he makes $700,000 a year, you get to ask him over and over. If he doesn't want to talk about it, I can respect that. I didn't like his response either.
Yeah, but you're in a position that is paid a lot to coach young men at a public university, and some level of accountability should be expected. Now, again, it's his right not to answer it, and I do think it'll be asked again in a different setting, and hopefully he'll have a slightly different answer. It's not going to be something that he's pestered with because it'll get in the way of the ability to cover the team. If like every time he's made available, it's like, well, what happened here? That's there's some tact behind it. But again, it wasn't a great answer. It was his answer, and he answered the question, and there was some defensiveness behind it, which wasn't great. But I guess I don't think it'll be the last time it's broached with him, but I would be surprised if it's something that becomes this.
I mean, it's nothing like the Diana Rossini and Vrabel thing.
Well, that's a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
Because that's...
I mean, someone did the math, by the way, because her son is named Michael, and they were talking about when her son Michael was born. It was like in November, and they did the math on prior to when it would have been conceived and where those two were at the time, and they were around each other.
I just...
So, like, dude, what if... I mean, come on, dude. If it's Vrabel's kid...
I cannot imagine how icy those two marriages are right now. I mean, it's
brutal.
It sucks, and it sucks for their.
I mean, I got a glimpse of it with the Alex Sims thing, and that was absolutely no fun. And I didn't interlock my fingers or anything. So
if you had interlocked your fingers, you would have been in huge trouble. Huge trouble.
I would not be married currently right now.
No.
Yeah. Nick Gandhi next. MSU tennis is on a roll. I remember playing against Ozan Baris when he was a 3rd grader. He was playing in with us as a high school upperclassman. He was special. Key to beating him then was bringing him to the net, then hitting him with a lob. And from Ken Chu, MSU is a tennis school.
It's a cool story, and I mean it's a veteran group that's won the Big Ten title and Big Ten tournament title first time since 1967. They'll find out as we're doing the show Monday afternoon in like an hour and a half. I'm actually headed over to a column on them this week. I was supposed to do a column on them late in the season, and it was the day we found out we needed to go to the hospital before Cora was born. But
priorities.
Yeah. But I do think they're a good story. It's interesting, and what has been accomplished there. The thing I'm very curious about is as we move into this rev share era, and where resources are pulled largely into just a few sports, how sustainable is this? Like, is this a moment for them, or is this something they can sort of continue at this trajectory? I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting. But it's very cool what they've done. They've got a heck of a team, and they've had some some outside help in terms of NIL and stuff to make this happen, which you have to compete at an elite level. Also, Bob in Fort Myers asked my thoughts on the Rossini-Vrabel thing beyond that. Like, in terms of the journalism and all that stuff, we talked about that in a Friday show. I don't want to have the whole discussion on that again, so you can find that there. I think it was Friday or it was last Monday. But
so go back and listen.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what we got into basically is the idea that, like, the ethics for her are different than they are for Vrabel, because she, what Vrabel did was immoral, what she did was unethical. And that's the difference, because she's a reporter. And I'm not saying Vrabel, there are teams that don't want you sleeping with media types because it puts you in a bad spot, obviously. But it's different. If you are the journalist in this situation and you compromise yourself or
but
trade favors.
Let's not kid yourself. It's because that he went to the Super Bowl last year. It's being overlooked. I mean, especially if somehow that kid is his. I mean, that kind of scandal. I mean,
That's
man.
Definitely a juicy story.
Oh, man. Sparty Barb next. Number 1, the Pistons need more volume and consistency in the three-point shooting, or they won't get past the Magic. And 2, Izzo has built a natty caliber team and has done it with integrity and honesty. Leave your doubts at home and see you in Detroit. And 3, congratulations to MSU men's tennis on their Big Ten tournament championship. And 4, bonus congrats, Elizabeth and Graham. Being a parent is the hardest and best thing you will ever do.
We keep saying it's hard. I'm not looking forward to that part of it. But
that's teenage years, though.
Too late now, I guess.
Enjoy it now.
Yeah, it's
till they turn 7 or whatever.
Yeah, it's There's the Pistons are in real trouble. I think that they play tonight, and so we'll get a sense Monday night whether, because if they go down 3-1, there I don't see, unless something, and it's not just that they go down 3-1, it's the way the series looks. Like, the series needs to look a little differently, and if they go down 3-1 and it looks like it has, except for the second half of Game 2, they're toast.
The Rick Riz of Southern Maine next. Best. My daughter is leaving for college in a couple of months, so I've been having big feelings. There isn't much I wouldn't give to go back in time and spend one more day with her at Funtown Splashtown. And bonus. Didn't take long for Graham to start thinking about moving to the suburbs.
Oh, I'm not moving to the suburbs. Did I say I was moving to the suburbs?
I don't recall you saying that.
That would be big news. Yeah, I know it. I wouldn't move to the suburbs. Funtown Splashtown, though. This is a Maine man himself. Like, I've been to Funtown in Maine. It's not like the fun time here in as you get out towards Grand Ledge. Whole different level, water slides, all the stuff. Like, it is sweet. Funtown and sort of the, I think, what is Saco, Old Orchard Beach area. It's somewhere. It's just,
see, when I read that, I go, damn, that's going to be nice to not have your kid there in a couple months.
Yeah, totally different.
Right, like you see, yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, Shep, congrats on Fatherhood, Couch. It's rad as hell. Enjoy it. Only downside, if Elizabeth cock-blocked you having a decent setup before, you'd have no shot now. Your sad little treadmill lube-stained extra TV setup is about to be turned into a playroom with a princess tent and Barbie dream house.
Oh, there's more to
that. Oh,
yeah.
Perhaps they will let you have an obstructed view watch, TV, through the window as you are treadmilling outside from the back porch in January. It will still be worth it.
Yeah, you give up some things. You give up some parts of your house. I still have my treadmill set up, my one TV with the treadmill. We'll see how long that lasts. Kid can't really roll over
going
yet.
Full Wolf Blitzer now.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
But here's the thing. If I want anything that is good for my health, I can get it. My wife does not want me to die early. She doesn't want, so like that sort of thing. If I just act like I'm stressed, it can't be good for my cardio, like I need to have my heart looked at, things like that. Like, she will let me do whatever to be healthy.
You need to talk to a doctor and say that you need 3 TVs to watch sports.
Yeah, if I said that,
if
I would live longer, I would 100% get that in the house without question.
I love that just because you enjoy it and wanted to do it. That's just like, Matty B, number 1, I'm struggling to get excited for MSU football. I like Fitzgerald and believe in him, but I'm just not confident this school cares enough to spend. We have been irrelevant for so long, and I just don't see how we get back to playing Moneyball. And 2, agree with Graham on uniforms. Look at the NBA. There's no consistent look. There's not even a consistent court design. Without the scoreboard on screen, it would take me far too long to know who is actually playing each night because of the alternates.
I hate alternate uniforms. I
just
don't
the worst.
I don't get it.
OKC, theirs were awful.
I'm trying to think if there's a point. I guess there was one Pistons uniform back in like my teenage years, and this is who they're placating to, so I get it. Where it was like when the Pistons first donned like red uniforms, I remember Allen Houston wearing like red with the blue outlines and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't mind those.
No, I like those. So I get it. If it's certain time, but you got to hit it right.
The teal, I wasn't a fan of.
No, me neither.
Can't say I'm a fan of the teal.
The Bison Dele years, no, it's not.
But I don't mind them if they look good. And if young people want to have their kind of thing, I don't mind that. But it's just, I don't know. And it's just not just for the NBA. A lot of these, and mostly it's the City Connect jerseys. Those are usually ones that
I just don't understand because those are Nike too. Like Nike must. I mean, they're losing.
Yeah, but they
money.
want to go so far left on one of these things, and
what I'm saying is
go too far.
Like Nike is ruining the. Like if I look at that, I'm like Nike must be shit. Why would I want Nike? Like I don't get that.
Nike fanatics, they're all ruining. Ralph E, watching the playoffs to keep up with your Piston takes. Seems like it's evolved into a game that is mostly spacing and one-on-one with few offensive set plays. I find it boring. Am I the only one?
You are not. You want a game, and I what Steve Kerr said I actually kind of liked. He talked about the idea of getting rid of the 3-point line because what's happened is the analytics of the game, they realize it's dunks, layups, and 3-point shots is what makes the most sense to take, and so it's ruined the way the game is played in a lot. And if you took away the 3-point shot, even if you brought it back eventually, or he talked about a 4-point shot that was a little further out, or I don't know what would that be, but like if you took away the 3-point shot, it would create what was a different value proposition and how the game might look better. I would hate it as somebody who's a shooter, but I think it would be there might be something to it.
Eric Smith next. Number 1, have we not seen enough of Jack Flaherty? And 2, I used to be a portal overreactor, but trust Izzo and the culture. And 3, I hate rule changes for more eligibility, but a 5th year of Cooper would be incredible and a reward for having done things the right way.
Well, what would be incredible about the Cooper thing, even though they've brought in Anton Bonke and Caleb Glenn is a transfer, and this isn't a program without transfers. But what would essentially it would be a development guy when you start to look at the starting lineup next year would be Jeremy Fears, who began in that program, probably Josiah Jervis, who would be a freshman beginning in that program. Jordan Scott, who also began in the program, maybe, or Cohen Carr began in the program, Cam Ward began in the program, and Carson Cooper developed in the program. So your starting 5 would be all guys who came in as high school kids, and that would be in this day and age to do it that way. What's the right and wrong way? The right way is to do it within the rules and win. And right now there aren't a lot of rules, and how you win, like what Michigan did, unless somebody wants to come out and say what they did was outside the rules and how they recruited, unless somebody's going to put their name behind that and make that accusation, what they did was absolutely within the rules, and they won, and they played a hell of a level of basketball. But you can do a way what Michigan State would have done if they were able to have an elite year with Cooper back would be a way that I think would be really satisfying to people, to Izzo, to fans. And not something that I think is going to be sustainable for forever, but would be something that people would really enjoy.
Bibby next, best take. Izzo goes away from 2 big lineups and starts Caleb Glenn at the 4 for shooting. And bonus, this will be MSU's least talented football roster since 2000. No NFL draft picks, no dynamic skilled talent, no depth on the O-line.
Hold on one second. Well, I mean, there's a chance it is, but 2000 is the wrong group to throw shade at. 1 second.
I am the passenger.
Free Ubers.
And I ride and I ride.
So the 2000 team, I mean, because they were really good defensively, and they just had 3 7th-round picks, Ronaldo Hill, Tupe Peko, and TJ Turner, but also on that 2000 team were future draft picks TJ Duckett, Chris Baker went in the 3rd round, Herb Haygood, Josh Shaw, Craig Jarrett, Charles Rogers. Charles Rogers was sitting out that year. Yeah. But anyway, there were. It was not. So if you're going back to like years they haven't had, if you're looking for like no talent, I mean they've had a couple years where they didn't have any draft picks. They had 1 year, 2000. Anyway, they've had some not great years of late, but 2000 is the wrong year to throw shade.
Scotty Green's El Camino next. Number 1, Torkelson has 5 straight games with a homer, tying a franchise record. I can only imagine what he did to slump bust. Just when you're ready to give up on the guy, he pulls this shit. Unreal. 2, not going to overreact to one pledge, but the kid from Chicago is a highly rated defensive lineman, and everybody wanted him. Makes you wonder if what Fitzgerald and his staff are selling is starting to resonate.
It's
hard not to resonate when you're Pat Fitzgerald, though. Coming into a new situation and the way his football speak, especially with the after Jonathan Smith thing, his energy and all that stuff it has to be contagious.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. You're able to sell a dream when you're a new coach. That always helps.
Yeah.
And this Ozula kid from Chicago who said he's shutting down his recruitment and all that, and look, he may be, I mean, it's hard for me to, when a guy's a year out, and because a lot of guys, it depends what happens in the season, right? The money could change, the vibes of the season could change. I wouldn't pay any attention to recruiting at this stage. However, when you do have to get talent at some point, and so it's better than not getting these guys. And when a guy said he's also shutting down his commitment, that's better than not. And you have, when you're allocating funds, you probably have some money to spend on, big time guys starting in 2027. They're probably able to start to say, okay, who will be on the roster? Who do we want to prioritize? But the other part of that is, you're selling a dream too. And, Chicago land should be an area that Michigan State recruits hard. It's a place that's close enough for people to get to. It's, I can understand why that would, and it's a fun place to visit on a recruiting visit too. So I don't know what the financial component of that is with a true freshman, but it's better to get these guys than not, even if it's a year out before they're actually in the fold.
Couch on fire, a plethora of torque bombs every time we give up on him. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Jason, did you get a chance to see Nelly Korda this weekend? The best swing in all of golf. Well, that's John Daly, but yeah, she's definitely top 5, top 10. But yeah, I had the chevron on. Anytime Nelly Korda's in contention, that's going on TV somewhere. Yeah. Kevin in Rochester Hills, number 1, Diego Pavia is destined for the Hall of Fame or a crack house. 2, Javi Baez will hit more home runs than Torque. And 3, lawns should never have weeds because of your neighbor.
It's tough. Sometimes the weeds just sort of spread. I mean, we tore up our whole front lawn and redid it because of some of that stuff. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? I mean,
I don't know, spray and then spray and pray.
In Ovid, you're like a mile between other houses.
We're not actually, no, but we have fences that are that divide us. And
okay.
Thankfully that we don't talk to the neighbors. So
I got to say, Diego Pavia is one of the more annoying people.
Yeah, he really screwed himself.
Yeah. He's just, I mean, yeah, I don't, he's only, 5'11", 5'10", something like that. So that hurts him too. But he's just not that likable a character, and that's not helping him. We went back to the Connor Cook's conversation years ago, why he didn't make it in the NFL. And one of those was he had a really bad playoff game, right? And obviously if he hadn't had to play at that point, maybe he would have stuck in the league a little longer. But also he had a little bit of bro to him, right? And when you're only keeping 2 quarterbacks on a roster, the starter, if it's Tom Brady, wants to hang out with Brian Hoyer, not the bro, And so you don't want to be a douche. Like if you're Diego Pavia, and it's like, this guy, I don't need this guy in my quarterback room as a backup. So the problem is, if you're going to be a douche, you've got to be a starter talent.
I just remember Connor Cook snatching that trophy away from Archie Griffin, and I just go, oh, that's who you are. I see. Skylar Verdon next. Playoff hockey broadcast. Stop telling me about how great playoff hockey is and just commentate it. I am already watching. You don't need to try to convince me to watch. Some other sports do this as well, but playoff hockey is the most egregious. Because I understand that. Because when I watch it, I always say out loud in the living room, even though T doesn't listen to me, I'm like, why am I not watching more playoff hockey? It's a beautiful sport, especially in the playoffs.
But you were just criticizing me for this with soccer. Like I'm trying to convince people to watch it.
I understand, but it comes out of. But soccer blows. But hockey is a great sport, and it's not bad to gamble on as well. So I don't understand why I'm not watching more. So what I'm saying, Skylar, is I understand when if you're commentating, and I've been at some really great hockey games too. Especially recently with the Vegas Knights and the Red Wings game. It was a regular season, but the way the environment is, it's just a cool. Damn it, why aren't more people watching this shit? I don't know.
No, that's a good point.
But it is annoying when people do that. I get it. Alan Perlstein next. Steve Yzerman has been the Red Wings GM for 7 years. In that time, they've never made the playoffs. After the 7th failed season, Yzerman said that they need to get better players. That's what he said he was going to do 7 years ago. It's time for Yzerman to go.
It's not a great argument, is it?
isn't this the biggest fear though when you hire one of your own legends to be a GM?
Well, and the problem, I mean, he wasn't just. I mean, he had a track record in Tampa Bay. That's why it seemed like such a good hire at the time, and they had been good. But like, the problem is, I do think hockey is maybe the hardest sport to build in because of the hard cap, and if you don't get some lottery luck, and they have not had any of it, you can get stuck a little bit. That said, you only get so much time before it's somebody else's turn, and they're probably there.
But I'm out of my depth on this, but I have read some things about Yzerman not pulling the trigger on some of these trades, even this year and other years too.
Yeah.
Where you have to do those things as well. Frank Vagner next. Number 1, Steve Yzerman's presser was all no shit statements. I'll believe change is coming when I see it. And 2, how about some love for Portage, Michigan's Carson Hocevar for winning at Talladega.
Yeah,
NASCAR, huh?
Yeah, you know where Portage, Michigan is?
I've heard of it.
Right next to Kalamazoo. It's like a suburb. It's like the East Lansing Okemos of Kalamazoo. So yeah. In fact, once my wife got mad at me when we were just dating. Before we were dating,
sounds like she's always getting mad at you.
No, I joked that she sounded like somebody from Portage, which is like the ultimate insult. It's like telling me from Okemos. Yeah, you don't do that.
Is that like saying the C word? C-Dubs 91, hot. Yzerman wants to move on from Larkin, but can't get rid of him because of his local ties. And bonus, on a flight recently, the pilot said we would travel through rough air, but the turbulence was no worse than driving on Michigan roads. I'm no longer as afraid of flying.
Do you hate turbulence? Like because there are times where the turbulence is enough that I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
did, but I have started watching these YouTube videos with a guy named Captain Steve.
Okay.
With like multiple E's in it, Captain Steve. And he goes over some turbulence. Like if there's ever some trouble in the air, he's like this guy I think he still flies, but he's a captain. And if there is a plane crash, like I'm fascinated by plane crashes. So I do watch his videos, but he also gets into turbulence. And I've also watched videos of pilots in the cockpit landing a plane. And it's helped me immensely now that I have a visual when I do fly. Thankfully, I've been very lucky without much turbulence.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry. But it definitely, watching those YouTube videos, it eases my mind knowing more about what those pilots do up into the air and how like safe it is to fly.
Captain Steve?
Captain Steve, and there's like a couple E's in it.
Okay.
But yeah, he's got like 1 million subscribers. It's wild. But yeah, he does great videos.
Nice.
So yeah, so it eases my mind on when I travel now.
Yeah. No, I'll have to watch it because
especially with the MGs flowing, you got to make sure everything mentally is going up there because if you go all of a sudden lose it and you're on like 40, 50 MGs, so.
In my head, I know it's safer to fly than like almost anything else in the world.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm up there.
Like driving to Metro is way scarier.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're finally at the airport, you're like, fuck, everything's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
We go down. I'm ready to ride. Trey, the Troll Rice next. Number 1, Izzo is the Mike Tomlin of college basketball. And I'd argue what Tomlin did with never having a losing record in the NFL, with the NFL designed for parity, is much more difficult than Izzo's tourney streak. Yet Tomlin was hated at the end and pushed out. Izzo's beloved. That's why people say he's overrated in EL. And 2, Duren puts the Pistons in an incredibly lose-lose situation because it feels like we can't pay him, and yet it also seems likely someone else would. So even though he's been complete ass, we have almost no choice but to pay him max or let him walk for nothing.
You don't pay somebody who's not going to get you a championship. That's how you get stuck.
You got to let him walk if you don't believe in it.
Yeah. Those are hard decisions.
It's too risky,
guys. And what I would try to do if you don't believe he's a number 2, if you believe he's like a really good number 3, as you say, well, in this world that we live in, we think you're really valuable, but this is what guys who are the number 3 guy on a roster should make, and this is what we need to do, or we can't do it. So here would be the argument on Izzo versus Tomlin. A couple different things. Izzo just got to the Sweet 16 after an Elite 8, right? And here is Mike Tomlin's last playoff win. Lose a wild card, divisional playoffs. But those first round, they haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Izzo is, so it's a little different. And I get what you're trying to get at here, but it's just different. And it's also, if it was easy to do, a lot of other people would have done it. But they've also been in a division with the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals for a long time, which helps you get into as a wild card a lot of years. And so that would be one other argument for it.
Richard Kane next. Number 1, I think I'd rather get an up-and-coming transfer from a mid-major than a guy from a major power who either couldn't hack it there or where he was, or it was just treading water developmentally. Unless it's a lottery pick quality player, but how many of those are available to non-NBA teams? And 2, instead of the spring game, MSU should replace it with a football festival celebration, blending elements of the old Michigan Fest and a Gus Macker-style flag football tournament, and bonus and baked. The only scenario where MSU fans would denigrate Izzo's record if he had done it at another school is if he had inherited Bill Frieder's program instead of Judd Heathcote's.
Certainly. And the number 2 here, though, the problem with an idea of like a flag football game and a football festival is what draws people to football, and this is the danger of alternative uniforms, is the helmets, the shoulder pads, the fun. You want to see your team line up and play a little bit, and that's what makes the spring game work. I'm telling you right now, and if they were in helmets, I guess people might want.
I think he's saying have a flag football tournament for people to do it themselves.
I see.
Amongst the spring game itself, not the players doing like a flag football tournament.
Style. Okay,
I'm guessing. I think that's what he's trying to say.
I would enjoy that. You could do it over on one field. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
So that way, when you're done, the tournament's over, you go right over to the spring game.
I like it. I like where Richard's head is. Yep. Okay.
Travis Maynard, number 1, college players will become full-time employees before college refs. And 2, college players will get 6 years of eligibility before they get 6 fouls. And 3, what are we doing, Graham?
Yeah. 6 years of eligibility is ridiculous. I hope they never get to that point. It will be interesting to see once they say this blanket 5 years exists, will there be any lawsuits for a 6th year? I do think the ones that will exist will be guys like Jesse McCullough. Guys who, before this rule was in place, redshirted. Because if you're McCullough, you're like, the only reason you didn't get to play spot minutes as a freshman and be a part of things was to get a 5th year, and now you're going to have a rule. So I do think there might be some grandfathering in. It will be interesting to see how that's played of guys who, were redshirted, but maybe not. It'll be interesting to see how that looks.
Clint One-Ball-Baney next. Number 1, if you're into morel mushrooms or people watching, head up to Messick, Michigan on Mother's Day weekend for the annual Morel Mushroom Festival.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's got to be great people watching. 2, insiders are telling me that Poontang's three-point shooting has improved dramatically and that he may get some minutes next year. I really hope his brother Kerr Tang doesn't transfer so I can drive this joke straight into the fucking ground. 3, I love playing golf, but damn it, I'm watching it every weekend now and not even betting on it. What's wrong with me? Wait. Is that a take or a Twitter question?
It's okay. We people get them mixed up all the time. It's the Kurt Tang is not getting in the transfer. The transfer portal's closed. I mean, I'm a little surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised he stayed entirely, but for a while I was a little surprised when nobody was in it because I thought Ugochukwu, Tang, like you just start doing the minutes, you're like somebody's not going to be happy there. I think it's good for Tang that he's staying.
Maybe he wants to compete.
And he has a skill set that is potentially separates him. Now, he has some deficiencies that separate him in a negative way defensively and athletically, but is a pure shooter. If he keeps developing that, he will have a role and he'll be and if it doesn't work out next year, he's got another year. And think about this also. All these guys now are looking at it like they probably have 5 years. That 5-year thing is going to come into play. This isn't just the Carson Cooper rule. This rule isn't being put in place so only Carson Cooper comes back. Kurt Tang then gets 3 more years of eligibility. So it also takes the pressure off, the idea that, do I need to transfer now if this isn't working out? You go through 3 years. If it hasn't worked out, you go somewhere else for a couple.
Original Dark Antonio next. Michigan hockey is a bigger deal in their sport than MSU basketball is to theirs. So not winning at all while having more Frozen Fours than Izzo has Final Fours since each one's last title is more frustrating than Izzo not having his second title. And then MSU hockey's 3 years of not getting to a Frozen Four.
Michigan hockey's been really good. They haven't. Was this their first Big Ten title? Right in the tournament. I mean, they won the Big Ten tournament. I don't even remember. Michigan hockey is a great program, but I just disagree with them being bigger. I guess it's a smaller community. But I think in terms of what Michigan State basketball and how they're viewed because of Izzo and what they are in the modern times to college basketball, whether it was justified or not, I think it is. But is a bigger deal than people would say Michigan hockey is. But that, you could argue that. The problem is hockey is just on a smaller scale, so it's harder to view it in those terms. But I know where you're trying to go.
Thomas Zambiasi next. Same goes for many sports, but clearing house on a baseball coaching staff 1 month into the season is the ultimate all-emotion, no-thinking move. I get Boston hasn't been happy, but who worth hiring is going to be available or willing to leave a team that's probably playing better at this point in the year? I thought that was going to be one of your hot takes because of, Alex Cora, the name, Cora Couch.
No, I didn't think about
dad joke.
I didn't
figure that was
it's
happening.
a really good dad joke. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's it is sort of strange. You don't see that this early, but it says the GM is panicked and knows he's next, and they're looking to. I mean, it wasn't working with them. I don't know if it's too early. What are they, 11 and 17? It must be more than that.
What about the Mets, too? They're a shit show.
Oh, my God. And they're like the second highest payroll. I mean, I understand that's the problem with baseball is that, you can spend a boatload of money and it not work out. But, yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't think I would have fired a manager this quick. But if, I'm not in that clubhouse either. And so maybe it's. Cora's a pretty decent manager, don't we think?
I think so. I thought so.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah, but you never know what's going on, like you said. Mark, what non-U.S. team are you rooting for at the World Cup after the U.S. gets knocked out? I enjoy watching England be eternally, I thought that was a player, be eternally tortured, so thinking Spain, France for their insane talent level, and any and all African team that advances. Excuse me. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, shit. This is a hot take show. Well, damn. Change my question to a statement. How baked am I right now?
Sounds like you're having a good night or whenever this was. There is usually, I've liked Ghana, Cameroon way back in the day I've enjoyed. But I do like, I root for England to a degree. I do it.
Whoever you have money on, right?
Spain, I often have quite a bit of money on. Right. And so I'll be honest. I was a little,
Let's be real here.
Concerned about one of their injuries.
Whatever future bets you have on, You guys are going to a game, so you're going to be betting on that.
Maybe.
Oh, come on.
I haven't loved this U.S. team. I'm hoping to get patriotic by the time.
But I'm saying for the game that you and Powers are going to,
we're hoping to go to 3 games.
Right, but I'm saying you guys have to bet on the game, right? You got to have little bets.
It could happen.
Oh, yeah. Jake Hawkins, number 1. Damn, it sure looks like the Pistons are our weakest number 1 seed in the history of the NBA. What a lackluster, pitiful performance Saturday in Orlando. Just when you thought they learned their lessons from game 1, better even it up tonight, but still going to go all 7 games. And 2, if you haven't figured it out already, it's now official. Jack Flaherty is officially a liability for the Detroit Tigers. I was down in Cincinnati Saturday night for that complete and utter debacle that had a slight promising start. Why did we resign him again?
I think he picked up his player option.
He did. Jeez, he can't even wait till I get done.
Sorry.
Firing that thing answer. 3, on that note, Scott Harris, make some phone calls and get bullpen help at the trade deadline, please. My grade for the Lions NFL draft is a B+.
I love how I just multiple things.
And the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini keeps getting juicier and juicier, whereas Maury Povich or even the ghost of Jerry Springer when needed.
I would love to see Vrabel and Rossini on Maury. I would watch that 100 times.
They did that on AI, though.
Oh, did they?
They had the AI.
Oh, okay.
Found out
that's yeah.
So your dreams can come true.
Yeah, AI makes them true, I guess. Yeah.
AI is wild like that.
Flaherty is really frustrating at this point. It's to the point that I would, if I was going to go to a Tigers game and I found out Flaherty was pitching, I'd be like, I'm not going to go. I don't want to go to that.
Wow.
Because I don't want to see them give up. I mean, the odds they're going to win. It's going to be such a shit day. And
I mean, anyone other than Tony Dombrowski happy that Flaherty came back, though? I don't think that there was many.
No.
Yeah, that's what happens with a player option. And finally, Hans Jurgent. Number 1, does Will Vest have dirty pictures of A.J. Hinch? Dude is blowing games this year after blowing 10 last year. And 2, it's pathetic. Our best hitter is a rookie, Kevin McGonigal. And 3, I have to install a new bathroom exhaust fan, and I'm afraid. I can't even remove the old one. Will Vest is laughing at me. In bonus, Graham hid the pregnancy to avoid our creepy questions and hot takes.
100%, Hans. That's 100% true.
That's smart.
Yeah, no, see, I'm telling you right now, if you've got to remove and put a new ceiling vent fan, hire somebody. That is my advice. We just recently did that. Hire somebody to do it.
Not all of us are ballers like you guys, man.
Yeah, or you're going to kill yourself doing it.
Dude, I would rather $400 just to get someone over at your house for anything. It's wild.
That's a lot, yeah.
Fire up that YouTube.
And actually, I wish I had the skills to do it. I shouldn't say that. If you have any skills at all, I have very few discernible skills, including doing this show is not really among them. But we appreciate you listening. We appreciate Muskox Flannels. Go to GoMuskox.com, where you can purchase a flannel with $15 off your flannel purchase with the promo code Peacock. And again, it may not feel like flannel season, but it's always flannel season. It's always flannel season at night. It's always flannel season on the cool backyard hangouts. It's always flannel season if you're preparing for next fall to look your best and feel your best. GoMuskox.com. Also hats and tees. We'll be back, I think, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.